Hey guys, my name is Wayne and I'm a physical therapist. Today I want to talk about why I'm not and you shouldn't pay off your student loans. Well, you guys might be thinking, well Wayne, shouldn't you be paying off your student loans? Wasn't it your responsibility to take on the student loan? Blah blah blah, right? And I think that yes, I should be paying off my student loans, and technically I am. It's just I'm paying off in a smarter way. Now, most people are going to start paying off the student loans in the standard repayment plan, which I mentioned in the other video, which is right up in here. When you do that, you have 10 years to pay off your student loans, and usually there really is no give. And people will use the snowball method, which is famous by Dave Ramsey, which you start paying off with the smallest loans, and then you start paying off your bigger loans later. When you do this, you leave a lot of room for losses. What I mean by that is that you can take the money that you would be paying for those student loans into investments, into assets, different ways to make you more money. Now, when we do this, I kind of want to explain what I mean by that. Okay, in my last video, I talked about a few different ways how I'm paying it off, and I want to show it to you guys. So what I'm doing to pay off my student loans is using the pay-as-you-earn method. What that does is it takes a payment plan, which is about 20 years, and what they do is they take your gross income and they take 10% of that adjusted by the AGI, or the adjusted gross income, and then that's your payment per month for the next 20 years. Now, you have to reapply for it every single year, so then at the end of 20 years, you get all those loans forgiven. With the loans forgiven, what happens is now you pay tax on those on that, and then you pay in a giant lump sum, or you take out another loan through a private lender or your bank or whatever, and then pay those off. So the two different types of thinking when it comes to student loans is you want to pay it off as fast as you can, which is what people do in the standardized repayment plan. And then you have the other side, which is what I'm doing, which is the income-driven repayment plan, or more specifically, the pay-as-you-earn plan. When we look at the pay-as-you-earn plan, you only take such a small amount of payments per month. With the extra payment that I would be paying per month in the standardized plan, I can use that to invest. I can use that to save for the giant tax that I need to pay in the end, and you actually make more money on the top side. So when we go to these different charts, right, we'll go down and we can see how these different things will pan out. So what I want to talk about right now that's helping me pay off my student loans is fitbucks.com. What they do is they help people like you and I with student loans create a plan to pay off their loans. Now, the coolest thing is that you can actually schedule a free call with one of their financial advisors, and they actually sit you down, and then they have a consultation, and they go through your student loans, how you can pay them off, different plans, and that is one of the biggest tools and best tools that they should be charging for, but is actually completely free. Okay, so let's actually dive into fitbucks.com, and then I'll show you what I mean. So when we go through here, okay, you log in, and then you have my tools at the very top. You're going to click on payoff versus IDR student loans, and it'll have this whole questionnaire. Okay, so let's fill out my information. So household size, mine is 1. Were any of your loans for grad school? Yes. How much are your annual gross income? For the year of 2020, I made $98,882. What's your annual rate of income? So increase. So for most people, it's about a 3 to 5% raise, and that kind of follows inflation. As a physical therapist, I don't get as many raises as most people do, but I'm still gonna put 3%, just because that was my raise over the past year. So if that keeps on going, that'd be great. If not, then the payment will kind of be a little different. Okay. What state do you live in? I live in California. And then, are you pursuing public service loan forgiveness? I am not. Let's go to the next page. Now, on this page is actually really cool. So you actually get to see all the different income-driven repayment plans and how they break down from the first payment to the last payment, total paid without the tax, the amount forgiven, tax obligation at 35%, total paid with tax, and total payment period of months. Okay. So let's come down here, and then we'll look at the one that I am doing. So we'll click on the pay as you earn, and then what rate of return would you expect to make on your investments? Now, historically, the S&P 500 is around 78% return, okay, and that's a pretty safe bet. So if you put it in there, okay, let's put about 7%, okay, on the conservative side, and then we will run that, okay. So on this page, it's actually really interesting. So you'll have the payoff strategy, which is the standard repayment plan that most people will be on if they want to pay it off in 10 years. And then you have the IDR strategy, which is the income-driven repayment plan strategy, okay? And then you can see in this blue box on either side the amount of savings you would have in 10 years for either plan. So in the 10-year plan, at the end of 20 years, I would have $416,204 versus $771,998 in 20 years on the IDR strategy. Okay, and then we go down the amount I paid if I were to do the standard repayment plan, the amount I paid while I'm doing the pay-as-you-earn plan. Now you look at these two numbers and you're saying, wait, Wayne, I'm paying more, you're paying more money and at the end of 20 years versus the 10 years. Why are you paying more? Well, if we look up here, I'm actually saving about $300-some thousand that I would be making, okay, versus this. So when we look down in here and how much my monthly payments are, $2,512 per month if I was to pay it off in 10 years. That's about a paycheck for me, okay? And a lot of people will say, well, you know, you took out these loans, you have to pay it off. Well, that's cool and all, but I'm not okay with paying $2,500 per month, okay? And then paying with $665 per month, I'm okay with that. And that slowly growing over the years, I'm okay with that, all right? So we scroll down, and this is a pretty good graph to kind of show you what it means that when you have the investments and then the payment plans. So what they do is they calculate the difference between the monthly payment plan right here and they subtract it right here. So they take the difference, which is about $1,900 to $1,800, and they put it into the stock market or they put it into any type of investment where you have a 7% return every single year. Okay, so if I use all that money to pay off over the 10 years, okay, I would start investing, okay, after 10 years, at the very end, I would have this amount of money, okay? Now, if I took the difference of that and I use all that to put into an investment with a 7% return over the next 20 years, at the end of 20 years, I will have $862,572 and then pay off with that tax obligation, and then I would end up with $771,998. Okay, so I think this is a pretty safe play. The only question people have is, Wayne, how am I gonna come up with this $103,897,000? Okay, and that's what I'm gonna teach you guys next. So you guys are probably wondering how I'm gonna be paying off that giant tax obligation in the 20 years. And so I'm taking all the money that I would be paying in the standard repayment plan and taking all that and then the extra money that I've been making and putting that into different investment accounts. The very first one I do is I have an individual dividend account, and I'm putting about $500 to about $1,200 into that every single month. I have a Roth IRA, which I'm putting about $500 into it every single month. I have my 401k, which I'm putting about $600 into it every single month to kind of offset my income per year. I also have a index universal life account, which we're putting about $500 into that, and then I have a high yield savings account, and I'm putting about anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 a month, depending on how much extra cash I have. The last one though, that's kind of me saving up for a house, so that's not really an investment, but it's just something where I kind of use to kind of get ready for something. So those are just a few things that I do to kind of get ready for that big tax obligation. If you guys have any questions about any of these individual accounts, comment down below and then I'll make a video on it. So to kind of wrap things up, that's kind of my way of why I'm not really paying off my student loans. Yes, I'm paying off in full when you guys look at all the graphs I showed you, but I'm actually using all the extra money I am to kind of save up and invest for other things. In the end of 20 years, I'll have way more money than what I would have to be paying off in those 10 years. Now, I get it, right? Some people don't like being in debt. They don't want to be paying off these different loans. But however, the thing for me is I get to actually invest more now than later, right? Time is money, okay? And when I have more time to invest, I have a longer time for compound interest, and that's how I can make more money in the long term, right? At the end of the day, we all want to be wealthy, not rich. So that's just a way I want you guys to kind of rethink the way we're paying off our loans. And so if you guys have any questions, please drop them down below, and please like and subscribe. Thank you. Peace.